just focusing on my goals in racing, and the noise is separate. I have my goals. I want to go win races and championships, and what people are going to say isn't going to change how that's going to go. I mean, it may motivate me, but it's definitely, I mean, I'm just used to it by now. I've grown up like that. It's just focus on my goals, racing, and it's the media stuff.
Welcome back to our podcast, Let's Get Gritty, episode 6. So where do we even start? Just like the previous weekend in Seattle, we had rain delays, rescheduling, adjusting, and changing everything the teams riders are used to. Qualifying and race day live were pretty dry to watch and endure, but I can't say the same for the track. The track looked like wet cement, as if it never was maintained. Just a total mess. I guess welcome to New England, where weather is always a mixture of all seasons in one. Brutal. Gotta have tough skin. With rain, horrible track conditions causing puddles, mudslides, constantly changing erratic ruts, and zero traction. Clumps were everywhere, just distracting. Riders in mud camouflage. What is exactly the best advice for riders going out to race in these conditions? Nitty gritty, you grew up here with this type of climate and nature consistency in Massachusetts. What have you experienced with your quad racing and riding in such conditions?
Well, since it wasn't like a track type of environment for us to be riding, it was always muddy trails and beaver ponds, right? So you kind of just got to go out with that mindset. I was kind of getting sick of them guys talking about it, like attitude, but they're right. Like, you got to have a good attitude that when you get soaked all the way, you got water running down your cheeks, right? And you just got to say, it's there. Let's go. And go for it. It's like when you're working on a car, it's cold out, and you're just beating around the bush, and you got to lay on the ground. You just got to get down there and do it. Makes it worse if you just don't go all in.
With what we witnessed with Foxborough, man, all I could say is ride mentally reserved, think smart to survive, but physically go all in with the mindset to thrive. Stay off the clutch, stay low on the revs, and be critical but careful. And many times we saw riders getting fed up left and right all over the place, bikes smoking, overheating.
So when it came to qualifying, the track looked absolutely terrible right away. Guys were getting stuck. The moon dust, dirt, as they call it, was just not, it wasn't mixing well with the water, we'll say. It was like a cement slurry type stuff. Broadcast kind of was annoying, just like other events when they string you on. Browse said, they'll be on in a few minutes. He said, at 1:55. And then by it was 2:30, they just say, oh yeah, they're going to be on the track at 3. So they just don't want you to turn off the viewership. I get it, but they need to bring up some old races that those guys liked, like AC, maybe a race that he really liked, or just a good race, a bad race for them, whatever, and just talk about it a little bit. Maybe a 5-minute clip, 10-minute clip.
Actually, I think it would be pretty cool to have a segment of them just chilling on a black leather couch with a TV, like you said, calling the races, just chilling, legit hanging out, showing their personality alongside of their professional broadcasting.
It's something they should have thought about. They had a rain delay in Seattle already, and it's looking like they're probably going to have weather next week also, so we'll see what happens if they just drag it around and talk about crappy topics and bring random people into the booth. That's just not necessarily awkward, but it's just not good TV.
Yeah, no, you can tell it's just thrown together, pieced together, and rushed because no one knows what else to revisit or talk about over and over.
So then the actual qualifying as a track like that would go. The first qualifying session, Group C, 250s. Nobody was going to make up. It was 8 seconds or something, 10 seconds. So just the track breaking down, qualifying, in my opinion, didn't really mean much.
In the 250 Heat 1, it was a muddy soup fest. Right in the beginning, while the crowd was cheering on RJ Hampshire, it was unfortunately short-lived as he got stopped and flooded. Riders were getting stuck in the worst parts of the tracks possible, right smack in the middle in twos. It looked like people trapped in a natural disaster. Volan had an impressive 31-second lead and hold.
Yeah, it was crazy to see a 30-second lead first to second. I don't know, it was such a shit show.
250 Heat 2.
So Heat 2 was a little cleaner of a start than the first heat. VL had a good start, basically started pulling away. Thrasher and Faulkner had a little get-together, which Thrasher said screw it and just pulled off, saved his energy. He definitely wasn't going to make 10th, 20th. He knew he was going to the LCQ, so he just saved his energy, him and Faulkner. Later on in the race, basically just to cap it off, Sandwich Maker almost had a chance to pass VL, but the ruts just took him right into the back of VL, and he just took himself out. So that was about it on that. VL took the win. It looked, it was looking tough for VL in qualifying because, you always think the French guys, how tough are they really when he's got to pick up his bike that many times?
250 LCQ. Any highlights there?
Faulkner barely made it. He had a help from, was it Nice? Got stuck, and he was able to cruise by. Lucky. In the 450 LCQ, that was a tough watch. Poor Savacci getting stuck and then didn't have anywhere to get going. And Justin Hill, come on, Sheriff, didn't make it. I really thought he'd do okay in the mud.
That's a good point. I thought so too. So 450 Heat 1.
450 Heat 1 was basically just Sexton and Webb right off the rip. Sexton and him just inched each other out. Sexton took the whole shot, and that was about it for that heat. Just normal mud race. Well, bad mud race. People were just flopping left and right. So, you can't even talk about all the people that dumped their bikes.
Yeah, it was everybody, everywhere. Behind the scenes prior to the second 450 heat, the broadcast was talking about how Kenny did not line up nor participate in the open ceremonies, having fans worried that something might have happened. After some confusion due to mixed messages that he wasn't going to line up at the gate, he was then seen getting his gear on and helmet and all. He then put all at ease, lined up for Heat 2, and did pretty well despite announcing during some time prior to the evening race, during race day, he hurt his ankle. while he is also still riding with a separated shoulder injury.
Cooper had a nice start again, Justin that is, but he just faded to the back, and then I believe he had a penalty at some point in the night. But Shane McElrath, he's a good starter too. He was always great on the 250s, and he was able to hang it up there in the first heat and see how it went.
So Shane McElrath took the victory. 250 main event. RJ had a great start, but in the first turn he crashes, and we then have quite the pileup, a muddy yard sale. We noticed Tom Vial had some struggles and somehow ended up at the side bottom base of the track tower. Bike stuck, and Tom was completely out of breath. Overall, despite the mess spectators watched, we witnessed a wonderful first victory, emotional moment with a win by 19-year-old Chance Hymas for Honda HRC. Happy to see it. What did you notice about this main event?
Well, of course, being an RJ Hampshire fan, that was tough to see him belly flop like that. I mean, you can't even see how many people he got hit by or not, but man, he kicked up some water. He was completely covered in mud just from trying to get that hole shot, and he might have had it. But Briggs got the hole shot, don't even know his first name, but good for him. And he ended up going down. I heard he was pretty upset with himself, but hey, at least he got the lead in an event like that. It was a bad night for a lot of guys. It really was. Points-wise for Vial and Hampshire, Faulkner, a lot of guys. I guess you got to just make the championship on your bad days.
Moving along to 450 main, but actually before we discuss 450 main, can I just add Peacock streaming during the event was so bad. Constant issues with the live feed broadcast. Thank God it's pretty cheap, so I can't really complain too much.
In the 450 main, again, Justin Cooper got the hole shot, and Shane was right there with him. AP was in third, spider legging, watching those two kind of battle it out a little bit. Dude started flopping, again, Webb even, Mookie again. We forgot to mention earlier that Mookie had to go into the LCQ because he flopped in his heat. Sexton was even stuck for a little bit, like a good, almost 30 seconds probably. Good for AP to get another win. I'd like to see him get another win on something dry, but I mean, he was having a good time. He was looking back, wondering where everybody was. It was a good 250 and 450, I think. There's a little bit bigger of a gap in the 450s, but the 250 points are like, I think there's 4 guys within 10 points, something like that. So that'll be interesting. Everyone's going to have a good mindset with this bad weather that's still coming.
That's for sure. Towards the end, somehow Cooper Webb snuck past Chase. Could you even believe it? The main event ended with AP taking the win, with Shane McElrath and Webb behind him completing the podium for the night. It has been reported that ever since AP had a personal visit with his father, he had taken much to heart and shown great improvement in his performance.
That was crazy to see Chase just kind of putting around there and then just blow his doors off around the outside in the mud. That was like one of the best passes all night, honestly. It actually had some points value to it.
But yeehaw! Happy
Let's go,
for the
boy.
cowboy. It's about damn time, AP. So some honorable mentions. For me, I have to go with Cooper Webb's quote where he had said, "These are bummer conditions. No one wants to race in these conditions except AP," which turned out to be absolutely true. And we just HVAC guy.
Congratulations. Just explain what it takes for somebody like yourself, or you do during the week. Just tell me
to the
really
grown-up
more
table.
what you put into this.
Well, I borrowed this bike from my boy Mason Kerr, so without him this wouldn't be possible. And I rode it one day at Eric McKay's house, and I got P4. That's kind of insane. I worked Tuesday and Thursday, rode a little more on Wednesday, and you probably wouldn't believe my schedule and what I do, but we have fun. I love it. Shout out to Team Next Level, Redline Oil, and Hammer Nutrition Man and Jones Power Sports. It wouldn't be possible without them. And there's so many people I would like to thank, but that was insane, bro. I am living. Fourth place? What?
When are they going to send you work on Monday morning?
I don't know.
Rod
bro.
Bell
I gotta
just
get
being
a
the blue
raise.
collar worker he is. Got to work that 9 to 5, and then, well, it's more like probably like 7 to 4. But, you know, just get out there and ride. He loves it.
His personality and how humble and genuine he seems to be really showed through when they interviewed him. And it was nice that they gave him that opportunity and highlight since he landed in 4th place. So good to see it. What did you guys think about the race? Do you think it was a complete disaster? Do you think it should have been canceled? Tell us in the comments down below in the chat, and we'll see you guys in the next episode of Let's Get Gritty.